Vamos a ver si mi cámara no molesta ahí, ¿vale? ¿Está todo loco?
Holmes, will you stop that? You are utterly mad.
Yo no me muevo ahí, ¿eh? Yo no me voy al tío, la
Stop,
verdad.
Holmes.
Is that you, Watson?
Yes, of course it is. And you almost killed me.
Nonsense. I was aiming for the vases.
Blindfolded?
Watson, quiet, please. I'm trying to concentrate. Ah, Lestrade. What is it this time?
He can see me. Well, here it is, and it's a good one, Mr. Holmes. A gentleman by the name of Peter Carey, also known as Black Peter, has been murdered.
A sailor, most probably.
What happened here?
Oh, Mr. Holmes, how could you?
It's the only exercise I've had all week. A grateful client from Limoges sent me a vase collection this morning. I couldn't think of a better use for it.
You're out of your mind.
I missed 4 out of 10.
Given you were blindfolded, that was very good. Can I have a try?
Am I the only sane one here?
Parece que
I
sí.
suppose that Watson is right, Inspector. A little brain work would be preferable now. Do please tell us more about Black Peter.
Peter Carey, born in 1845 and 50 years old. An ambitious sort, he achieved much success in seal and whale hunting around Scandinavia. Retired in 1884 with a small fortune. He invested his money in a property called Woodman's Lee, near Forest Row in Sussex. It was where he lived for 6 years, and where he was found dead yesterday.
Has the investigation already begun?
Yes and no. In fact, this crime is so mysterious that I would prefer you to join me down there.
Give me half an hour to prepare, Inspector.
Take your time and join me there. I have to go through the yard first. The merry men struck again.
What have they done this time?
They robbed a powder reserve. I'll meet you at Woodman's Lee, Mr. Holmes.
I should help Mrs. Hudson here. I also have several appointments that I must keep this afternoon.
I shall go alone then.
Mala cara tiene, ¿no? Los ojitos. Venga, pulsa X para abrir el cuaderno, para comprobar tu progreso. Investigar el asesinato de Peter Carey. Inspeccionar la escena del crimen. Seleccionar un traje del armario y unirse. Ok. El inspector Lestrade visita a Baker Street para relatarle a Holmes el grotesco fin del antiguo capitán conocido como Peter el Negro. No creo que sea... ¿Qué pasa? No puedo mover el coso. ¿Qué estás mirando tú? A ver, se tiene que cambiar. Pero es que no me ha dejado opción para ir ahora a este sitio. Ok, ok. Vale, nos vamos. Peter Carey, también conocido como Peter el Negro, nacido en 1845, 50 años. Cosechó mucho éxito en la caza de ballenas en las costas escandinavas. Se retiró en 1884 y acabó estableciéndose en Woodman's Lee.
Mr. Holmes, I'm over here. Come on.
Reunirse con Lestrade, Woodman's Lee completado. Está gracioso. Se mueve raro.
When will you remove my husband's body? It's sacrilegious to leave him here like this.
As soon as we can, Mrs. Carey, I assure you. Allow me to introduce you to Mr. Sherlock Holmes. He's a detective. No doubt you've heard of him. I'll wait for you in front of the cabin.
Le falta un
Mr.
gorrito,
Holmes.
Sombrerito.
My condolences, Mrs. Carey.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes.
Se van a liar. Le tienen jardinero.
Madam, can you tell me if you saw or heard anything unusual upon the night of the murder?
At 2 o'clock in the morning, I heard a terrible scream. But I thought nothing of it then. He would scream all the time when he was drunk.
Do you remember at what time you found your husband's body?
In the morning, at around 7 o'clock, I noticed the cabin door was open. But I didn't go in to take a look, for I knew my husband would not have liked it. At around 10 o'clock, I
Vaya
dared to
porquería de
glance
marido.
in through the door and... Oh dear.
The garden is very large and well maintained. Do you employ someone to look after it?
It is true, there is a lot of work, but my husband took care of it himself.
Uy, se encarga el marido.
Can you please tell me what occurred on the evening of the murder?
Well, Peter got drunk in the evening. He was in such a terrible temper. Usually whenever that happened, he'd stay all night drinking in his cabin before passing out.
Was your husband accustomed to receiving visitors?
Oh, no, I don't think so. I mean, he didn't really have many friends. We lived quite an isolated life here, after his retirement.
¿Qué pasa?
You have indeed suffered a great loss, Mrs. Carey. Nevertheless, I believe it will be less of a burden for you soon.
Yes.
Tenéis que ayudarme con las
Life with Peter
investigaciones,
was
¿eh?
never easy. But
Eh,
El
he was
jardinero
still
era el
my
muerto.
husband.
He was different, wasn't he, when you first met him upon your return from Plymouth?
Yes, Mr. Holmes. Oh my goodness, but how do you know about that?
Peregrinaje de Judith. Vamos a poner peregrinaje.
You undertook a pilgrimage to the Cathedral of Santiago de Compostela when you were young. That much
Santiago.
is evident from the rosary in your hand. The shortest route for the pilgrim from England to Spain is from Plymouth. I believe that you met Peter Carey
Vamos,
as a
una
young
detective.
sailor there, and you married him soon afterwards.
That is indeed what happened, Mr. Holmes. How extraordinary.
Por favor. Una profesional.
Thank you, madam.
Vamos a investigar la
The
cabaña
door is
entonces.
locked.
Wait just a moment, Mr. Holmes, and I'll open it. I locked it yesterday to ensure that no one should enter the cabin and tamper with the evidence.
Ah, good thinking.
Hello, hello,
Lo
hello.
lógico.
What is it, Lestrade?
It seems to me that someone has tried to force it, Mr. Holmes.
Let me see. These scratches are fresh.
No entiendo.
You're right. Someone tried to force open the door.
I swear these scratches were not here yesterday.
Our mysterious visitor came here last night.
Well, he's not the man for the job. This lock is not a difficult one.
Perhaps he did not have the right tool.
Ok, ya abrimos la puerta. ¡Qué asco!
What a terrible way to die.
No entendí lo de la visión de él, ¿eh?
The tooth of a sperm whale, probably from one of Peter Carey's catches. This place is not covered with dust.
Como
like
que
the
tarda
rest
un
of the
poco, ¿eh?
shelf. An object was taken from here. It was larger than a book. A box or a small chest, perhaps.
Vale, había una caja ahí.
The ship's logs of the Sea Unicorn for the years 1878 to 1884. Peter Carey was her captain. Harpoons for hunting whales.
Bueno, más o menos.
Peter Carey's boots. They look to be a size 8. Old navigation instruments, nothing interesting.
¿Qué pasa? No, que yo quiero examinarlo. ¿Aquí ni nada? No.
Old navigation instrument.
Ok, pues no, ahí ni nada más.
Someone drank from this glass recently. The initials PC have been crudely burned.
Peter no sé qué.
Sailor's work.
No hay más nada, ¿no?
This aroma is familiar, but to recognize it, I...
Este es el que tiene que cuadrar primero.
Yes, this is a coarse tobacco, quite strong and very popular among sailors.
Vale, 2 horas para
Rum,
eso.
a sailor's drink. It seems that Captain Carey was enjoying a drink before he
Con
met his
alguien, ¿no?
death.
Porque hay 2 vasitos. No, pero la mesa ya está examinada entera. No tengo que usar... Es que todavía como no... No, aquí no hay que usar el ojo. Ok.
This blood is from the pool underneath the dead body. This wooden handle is plain and solid. Peter Carey tried to defend himself with this knife, but he did not succeed.
Pobrecito.
JHN are probably the initials of the owner of this notebook.
Supongo que este caso, por ser este caso, es el más sencillo, ¿no?
The weapon fully penetrated the body. The force of the blow was
Seguro que eso es más
immense.
complicado.
This man is in his 50s, yet he still looks quite strong.
Oye, ¿y las foticos?
Peter Carey was fully dressed. He was not caught by surprise.
¡Olu!
It is
Ya
possible
nos hemos pasado el
that
otro,
he
Kozuke.
knew his murderer.
En
The
principio.
Sea Unicorn. She was the ship that Peter Carey commanded. The pattern of the blood stain indicates that the notebook was not lying on the floor prior to the crime. But it
Las
was
letras ya
dropped
las
into
leí,
the
que
pool
será
of
del que
blood
pertenece el
after the death of
cuaderno.
Peter Carey.
Sigue estando de ese color.
These abbreviations mean something, but what?
Ahora sí. Encuentra un par de pistas relacionadas y formará una deducción. Se marcan en rojo las combinaciones irrealizables. Debemos preparar una emboscada esta noche para ver si se repite el intento de allanamiento.
Well, Mr. Holmes, what do you think?
I think that we are lucky.
And why is that?
Because of last night's attempted break-in.
Oof, you've lost me.
It is very probable that whoever came here hoped to find the door open. They tried to force it with a knife blade, but they failed. What will they do? Why, return tonight, when they will be better prepared.
Mañana no, esta noche volverá.
Ah, so what do you propose?
We shall remain on the outside, near the window, where we stand the best chance of catching sight of our visitor.
A esta conclusión llegamos todos sin tener que investigar
ready
dentro,
your
que sí.
pistols. We have a long night ahead of us. Is this your husband's tobacco pouch?
I'm not sure. It might be, but he hadn't smoked in a very long time.
Your husband's private papers. Do you know where they are?
There was a small tin box, barely larger than a book. He kept his papers there. It should be somewhere in his cabin.
Lo que falta.
Thank you, madam. These boots don't match the footprints. These footprints appear to be quite large. This looks like the perfect hiding place.
¿Te imaginas que es la mujer? Siempre es la mujer.
Shh. Did you hear that?
Cállate.
There's someone there. I'm gonna collar him.
I'll be right behind you.
Police! Hold it right there. All right, my fine fellow. Who are you and what are you doing here?
You're detectives, I suppose. You imagine that I'm connected with the death of Captain Carey. I assure you I'm innocent.
Innocent? And what are you doing in his cabin?
Shall I tell you? You came to retrieve what you had lost after killing Peter Carey, but we were here waiting for you.
What is your name?
John Hopley Nelligan, but I didn't...
Do you deny that you came here yesterday?
No, but yes, it's just that I couldn't...
I'm tired of this. Off we go to the yard. Tomorrow,
Aquí está no es el que la ha
you're put
matado.
in front of the judge.
What? But you can't! I'm not... It's a terrible mistake!
Enough. You can explain all of that to the judge. You're coming with me to the yard.
But...
In light of recent
Okay.
events, it seems evident that your coming here was unnecessary. All the same, I'm very grateful to you, Mr. Holmes.
You are welcome, Inspector, but please don't be too hard on our young fellow. I would like to question him tomorrow morning.
Ok. Vamos a ver. Interrogar al sospechoso.
Good morning, Mr. Holmes. Can I help you?
Good morning, Constable. I would like to speak to the fellow who was arrested at Woodman's Lee last night.
Ah, the young man. He's waiting in the interrogation room. You can go straight through. His belongings are held in the evidence room.
Thank you.
Vamos primero a ver las pertenencias y luego a él, ¿no?
Mr. Holmes?
Habrá que seguir por aquí. Staff room. Evidence room.
These are the suspect's belongings. A pocket knife. It was used to force the door of Peter Carey's cabin. A handkerchief with the initials JHN.
Qué pijería, ¿eh?
From R. Dawson. To my friend and partner, 1883. Dawson. I've seen this name before. Perhaps my archive holds the answer. The notebook that we found on Peter Carey's cabin floor. These abbreviations mean something.
Tenemos que preguntarle qué significa, ¿no? Ok. Vale, tengo conversación y cosas. Pues listo. No salió aquí, no.
Locked.
Buah. Esto que pone aquí. A la morgue. Aquí estará el cuerpo de nota. Ah, pues no. Pues no. No sé si será este. Bueno, aquí no hay nada que ver. Volveremos. A que estaba liado el niño este con la mujer de nota. Vamos a interrogarlo. Y yo creo que ya lo dejo por aquí.
Does this notebook belong to you?
Yes. But where did you find it? I did not know... I thought I'd lost it at the hotel.
What do these abbreviations mean?
Oh, no. I beg you, I can't. If I told you, it would only make things worse.
But I will find out eventually, Mr. Nelligan.
Ooh.
The sea knife was found near Carey's body. Tell me, Mr. Nelligan, did Mr. Carey try to defend himself or to attack you with it?
I don't know. I didn't kill anyone.
Lo que dicen todo, ¿no?
The police seized this valuable ring from you. Whose is it?
I didn't steal it from anyone. It has always belonged to me.
El grabado.
The ring's date of engraving is many years ago. You would have been a child then, hardly in any position to receive such an item from a partner.
Lo que hay, niño. Es un desgraciado. Ah, antes tenías dinero. ¿Qué me va a dar cuello?
So, Mr. Nelligan, who is the true owner of the ring?
The ring is mine.
Pero el grabado dice que no, esto ya lo hemos hablado.
No, Mr. Nelligan. I believe that the ring had belonged to your father.
Oh, but how do you know?
The jacket you are wearing is made of an expensive fabric that only a man of exceptional wealth could afford. You do not seem to me to be a rich man, Mr. Nelligan. Furthermore, the garment is ill-fitting. It is quite clear that it belonged to someone else.
No,
Most probably your father. With your father gone and taking with him the family's wealth, as a little boy you had to find yourself a manual job, and it was most probably cleaning fish. You cut your hands often while working. I can tell from the scars.
I'm speechless, Mr. Holmes. It all happened exactly
¿El
as you
papá es el que
say.
han matado?
Well, I will see you soon, young man.
Please, let me go. I'm innocent.
No te creo nada. Buah. Vamos a ver. No, yo creo que lo primero que tenemos... El cuaderno es importante. ¿Cuaderno? No, el cuaderno no. La caja de latón. Esta actuación. Bueno, actuación rápida y clavado en la pared. Debe ser algo. Tenemos que averiguar si un hombre sin destreza ni práctica podría manejar un arpón lo bastante bien como para matar a un hombre. Vale.
I need to stage a reconstruction. I'm sure that what... A spot of whaling, Watson. Would you care to take part?
Are you serious?
No, but we do need to clarify
La musa.
on the night of Black Peter's murder.
A reenactment, then? Is something bothering you?
The sailor's knife, Watson. Why was it on the floor?
Peter Carey attempted to defend himself?
It is possible. But if that is the case, then it alters many things.
I don't quite follow you.
Tell me, my friend, what is the animal closest to man, morphologically, I mean?
Ah, I see what you're getting at, Holmes. You asked me that once before. On the Ripper case, I believe. Do you want to slit some more pigs' throats?
¿Por qué?
No.
Thank goodness for that.
No me pilla animales,
I
¿por
wish
qué no
to
pone un
impale one with a
muñeco?
harpoon.
Wonderful.
Watson, let us pay a visit to our butcher friend in Whitechapel.
¿Se
We
van a
require
acabar
the
un
carcass
cerdo?
of a well-fed pig.
And the harpoon?
One of the harpoons on the wall of Black Peter's cabin.
¿Sigue aquí, señor? Ya no sigue aquí.
That should do it. Now I am ready for the experiment.
Vale, pues vamos. Cerdito. Ah, bueno, pero ya está muerto el cerdito. Me vale. Ya no lo he tenido que matar.
Well, here we are in the preparation room. I can't say that I like the smell of it much. What do you intend to do?
To indulge myself in a little experiment. The challenge of lancing a pig's carcass with a heavy harpoon.
A little experiment?
Stand aside, Watson. This might be dangerous. I am not well practiced in this exercise. Yet.
Holmes, you should aim for the mark in order to perform the most reliable test.
Cada vez me ponen un barrote más grande, ¿vale?
This is the best possible result that I could get. Do you see, Watson? Throwing a harpoon and pinning a man to a wall requires either exceptional strength and training or diabolical luck.
If it was luck, then it was a chance in 1,000 that night.
Well, yes. Let us leave now.
All right. But before we go, I suppose I'll have to pay for all these carcasses you've happily mangled.
Very well, but please hurry.
Of course.
¿Por qué lo trata así? Te pego un puñetazo en toda la boca, ¿eh? Dawson y Nelligan en quiebra. Quiebra el fondo de inversiones de Dawson y Nelligan. Nelligan desaparecido. Nelligan es el que ha muerto. Creo. El fondo de inversiones Dawson y Nelligan, un organismo bancario regional de Cornwalls, se ha declarado en quiebra como resultado de grandes pérdidas en su cartera de préstamos y por consiguiente se ha acordado su liquidación. Es el 23º banco de Inglaterra y su quiebra es la segunda más importante de las que han quedado registradas. La liquidación de la compañía es simple y llanamente una catástrofe para muchas de las familias de Cornwalls. Joshua Nelligan, uno de los banqueros, ha desaparecido misteriosamente. Se le vio por última vez a bordo de su barco, haciendo los preparativos para un viaje a Noruega. Lo buscan tanto la policía como sus acreedores.
Here it is. Now I begin to understand that young man's story, but I am still unclear as to what connects him with the murder. It is time to ask him. I have heard the story of Dawson and Nelligan. The West Country bankers.
Yes. Joshua Nelligan was my father.
I am aware that it had a bad ending. When the bank failed, it ruined half the families of Cornwall, whereupon Joshua Nelligan disappeared.
My father was under extraordinary pressure. Dawson had retired. I was only 10 years of age at the time, but it was still old enough to feel the shame that befell our family. My father was convinced that he could pay off all his debts if the creditors gave him time. He set sail for Hammerfest in Norway in his small yacht, just a few days before an arrest warrant was issued. He left my mother a list of the securities he was taking. No word was ever heard from him again. We believe that his vessel went down, taking with it everyone and everything on board.
Thank you for the story, Mr. Nelligan. At last, we are making some progress.
Sí, Mr. Nelligan.
Interesting. Joshua Nelligan and Peter Carey were both at sea in Norway. There is definitely some connection between Peter Carey and Joshua Nelligan's disappearance.
Aquí está.
1883. That's the one I need. This is the crew list of the Sea Unicorn.
Sea Unicorn Tripulation. Peter Carey, capitán. Charles Allison, primero de a bordo. Henry Joy, segundo de a bordo. James Lancaster. Tenemos que buscar Nelligan, creo.
Log notes for June. Nothing unusual.
Vale, todo correcto. Viento fuerte,
Log
ok.
notes for July. Nothing special.
July
Log
tampoco.
notes for August. These pages have been torn away. Log notes for August. These pages have been torn. Canadian Pacific Railway, CPR. A torn piece from a bond certificate. I have seen this abbreviation somewhere very recently. There are 3 ways of discovering what happened in August of 1883 aboard the Sea Unicorn. The first 2 of these will require speaking with a dead man. The last would be to locate vital witnesses, the sailors involved in this whale hunt campaign. Something new, Watson. I have the list of sailors
No me diga que
who were
William
aboard the Sea
Watson.
Unicorn. We
Vaya
shall
mierda de
soon
nombre.
learn what happened to Nelligan's father. I have only to find them. Let us hope they're still working at the harbour.
I think that if you pretend you're from Scotland Yard...
I doubt it, Watson. And really, I
¿Cómo
would
te ha ido,
prefer that
Chopper?
all of this remains quiet for now. But I have another solution. I'll call in the specialist.
And who might they be?
The secret police division of Baker Street.
Ah, you mean young Wiggins and his gang?
Yes. Believe me, you'll receive more useful assistance from these little urchins than from a dozen yard detectives. Those children are everywhere. They see and hear everything, and they are cunning. All they lack is organization. I'll summon them.
How will you do that?
There is always a watch beneath our window. I have only to call him.
Qué chulo que es, ¿no? Tenemos que llamar a los niños estos que ha dicho. Que saben de todo porque son unos chivatillos.
Could you come upstairs, please?
At your service, Mr. Holmes.
Wiggins, I need you to track down certain people for me. I'll give you a list. You can read, can't you?
Big Oliver from our gang. He can, because his father is the coachman of a famous lawyer.
Fascinating.
Pobrecito.
Here is the list of sailors.
Sailors? Easy. Just got to look where the rum and the red lights are.
Te pongo un antecedente.
Sorry
Bueno,
to trouble
espérate,
you,
Chopper.
Mr. Holmes, but the inspector asks that you come to the station as soon as possible.
Thank you. I'll be there shortly.
Mr. Holmes, I'm glad to see you.
As always, what happened?
We have a new suspect, Liam Hurtley. I'm thinking that this case will be resolved very quickly now.
Interesting. Pray tell.
Well, the constable that I left at Woodman's Lee noticed a suspicious individual prowling around during the night.
Do you have him here?
Yes, he refuses to speak with us, but we'll make him talk.
Let us hope so.
Ah, yes, and one more thing. The constable told me that at the time of his arrest, the fellow was writing a letter.
Do you have it?
Of course. It's in the evidence room. at your disposal. Admit that for once, Mr. Holmes, Scotland Yard is a step ahead of you, eh?
Breathtaking.
Me parece a mí que no. Vale, estas son las nuevas pruebas. Botas, tenemos ya otras botas. Vamos a confirmar de que esta es otro número y probablemente las de las pisadas.
Liam Hurtley's old boots. They're a size 9.5.
Querría ir a comprobarlo a ver si son de la misma talla.
Stains are fresh. They can be removed with the proper chemicals.
No tengo de esos de químicos.
Nothing unusual about it.
Está clavado.
Match the footprints exactly.
Te hemos pillado, como si nadie más tuviera la misma talla de pie, ¿no? Eso dicen
Please
todo.
escort this suspect for interrogation. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Sherlock Holmes. I would like to ask you a few questions.
I've already told the police that I've nothing to say. And you're not even part of the police.
Precisely. And considering your situation, it might be wise to speak with someone who is, shall we say, rather more neutral. You are a suspect in a murder case.
I know. Inspector Lestrade told me. It's ridiculous.
Dale.
Could you at least tell me who you are, and exactly what happened that you should be brought here?
My name is Liam Hurtley. That I can tell you. But you're not getting any more than that.
Well, we shall see.
Vamos a ver qué tiene para nosotros. ¿Esto cómo era? Ah, aquí. Ok. ¡Ah! Esto es sospechoso. Manos de jardinero. Pañuelo con... Vale, ya he hecho el retrato de que es un jardinero, supongo.
Tell me, Mr. Hurtley, what were you doing at Woodman's Lee?
Woodman's Lee? I've never been there.
Aquí está. Las botas coinciden.
The second pair of boots that
Mamá,
you had with you
huevazo.
when you were arrested perfectly match the footprints found near the cabin where Peter Carey was murdered.
Footprints? That's your proof? How many men have boots like mine?
La verdad.
That doesn't make me a murderer.
Now that your presence at Woodman's Lee has been proven, would you care to explain it?
I don't remember. What would I be doing there anyway?
¿Por qué jardinero? Ah,
Because
esa
you
no la había
are the
leído antes.
gardener at Woodman's Lee.
Lo
I'm
siento.
not. How did you...
I observed your hands. They told me that you work with the earth. Small fragments of plants snagged to your trousers indicate that you were mowing very recently. But the most obvious clue presented itself in the bird embroidered on your handkerchief. A crested tit, if I'm not mistaken.
Las manitas.
All right, you got me. Yes, I am a gardener, and I went there to get my tools.
That's all for now.
Yo no sé si habrá algún lado. Ah, mira, 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 mira. Aquí puedo.
I need to prepare a chemical agent that is capable of removing
¡Mierda!
fresh ink. For this purpose,
Tengo que
the
pensar.
chemicals from the flask
Me gusta
should be
pensar.
combined in a certain order to perform a chain reaction. First condition, all 7 reagents should be used. Second condition, orange reagent should be the third one in the sequence after the blue reagent. Third condition, colorless reagent should be added after the orange reagent.
Espérate, porque creo que, claro, después de uno naranja tiene que haber uno incoloro. Tienen que utilizarse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, los 7. El primero es el azul. Después del azul no tenemos ni idea de qué va. Pero esto es un poco de jugada de cucu. Puede ser cualquier cosa. Yo lo voy a hacer así, ¿vale? A no ser que se refiera al color. ¿Se refiere al color que está tomando el este? No. Yo creo que lo estamos haciendo del copón. Y lo estoy haciendo al tuntún, ¿eh? Como aprueba la primera, como todo en mi vida, ¿eh? Ahora he hecho otro naranja. Y he hecho el blanco. Yo lo estoy entendiendo mal, porque si no lo he entendido yo muy fácil. Y esto tan fácil no puede ser, ¿que no? ¡Vamos! ¡Ay, Dios mío! ¡No me lo puedo creer! ¿Cómo he hecho yo eso a la primera, Natalia? ¿Cómo me has dicho que haga?
I did as you asked and hid them well. Interesting. How would Hurtley react to this?
Hice lo que dijiste y lo escondí bien, pero te pido que reconsideres, no sé qué, te juro, y recuerdes nuestras promesas. No he hecho nada deshonroso, por lo que debas, no sé qué, de mí. Oye, tengo hambre, puede que ahora me vaya por algo de...
So tell me, Mr. Hurtley, what did you hide?
Hide? What are you talking about?
La carta.
I did as you asked and hid them well. Should I continue?
No, porque está todo mal.
But the ink. That's impossible.
A touch of chemistry, nothing special.
Well, you're a smart one. But it's nothing. If you want to know, I was referring to my tools. It was to do with my work, see?
Sospechoso.
I will check that, Mr. Hurtley. That's all for now. Hurtley's stories are false leads, but now I know one thing for certain. I must examine the site where the garden tools are kept, at Woodman's Lee.
Ah, aquella caseta. Tiene más pinta de jardinero. Es raro porque la tía dice que de jardinería nada. Pues nada, vengo aquí a la tía esta y dame la llave.
Does the name Liam Hurtley mean anything to you?
No, I don't know anyone by that name.
Uy, 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 cómo aparta la mirada, ¿no?
Madam, we have information.
Esta está liada, oh, ¿qué os dije? El morpeco se acordará de que la tía tiene algo que ver en la muerte del marido.
Oh my. Our tools are kept inside the shed that's right behind me. Here is the key to open it.
Tú mata a tu marido, diga tú lo que diga. Y te hace la loca.
Let's see what could be hidden here.
Amigo. Cajita. La caja que estaba en el otro lado. Que tiene llave también.
Let us see what is in this box.
Rota los cilindros. Uf, siempre cilindro. Formar una línea continua. Ten en cuenta que algunas líneas son engañosas. ¡Ah, que me lo he pasado también! ¿Qué está pasando? Hola, José, más tiempo sin verte. ¿Por qué me lo estoy pasando sin entender que estoy...? No entiendo nada. Me lo estoy pasando sin entenderlo. Vale. No sé qué está pasando.
Hurtley and Mrs. Carey were in a relationship.
Te lo he dicho yo, que estaban liados. Mi querido Liam, has sido muy bueno conmigo desde que te conozco. No puedo explicar mis sentimientos, pero creo que son pecaminosos y que nada bueno puede salir de ellos. Temo por lo que pueda suceder. Temo enfrentarme a Dios. Agradezco tu preocupación, pero no puedo dejar al hombre con el que estoy unida a los ojos de Dios. Y por eso lo habéis cargado, que como os tengo calada desde el principio. Es su divina voluntad que mi marido sea una cruz que yo debo soportar. Convierte mi vida en un infierno, pero los cardenales se desvanecen. No debes temer por mí. Uy. Le calentaba. Espérate. Señora, te hemos pillado. Confiesa.
Madam, I am aware of your affinity with Liam Hurtley.
Oh, what are you talking?
Sí, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? ¿Qué te pilla? Que tenemos las cartas.
Carey, we found your letters.
My letters? I asked Liam to return them to me. I wanted to burn them.
Why did Mr. Hurtley put them inside the garden shed?
I don't know. I wanted them back, but I couldn't see him, not after what happened.
Well, here they are.
Oh, this is terrible. Terrible. Liam, how could he? After what he has done.
What he has done.
You believe that he killed your husband?
No, I do not know. I do not know. Leave me alone, please.
Va a llorar más por tu novio que por tu marido.
I wonder if Wiggins has managed to find any sailors.
No sé.
Mr. Holmes, we found the sailors from that list you gave us.
Well done, Wiggins. Let me see.
Hugh Pattis, marinero. James Lancaster, timonel. Patrick Keynes, arponero. Rolf Talbot, marinero. John George, cocinero. Pablo, conventrao, arponero. Murió hace una semana. ¡Ay!
This is interesting. Let us review the other sailors now. This man is a harpooner, and his initials are PC, the same initials that were found on the tobacco pouch.
Qué fuerte. Como
Wiggins,
dice,
could you gather some information
había alguien
on one of the
inteligente aquí
sailors
dentro,
that you
no soy yo.
found? His name is Patrick Cairns.
We found Patrick Cairns.
Good job, Wiggins. Where is he?
He lives in a small furnished dump of a room, but he's always at the Sea Witch pub, where he does arm wrestles for money and drinks.
Excellent. Here is your reward. 2 guineas.
Thank you, sir.
de marinerito.
Now I can approach Cairns and see if he recognizes the pouch.
Qué sitio mierda. Qué sitio de mierda.
Hello there. Are you Cairns?
What do you want?
We've heard all about the gambling and arm wrestling here. You seem like the likely sort, and I'm up for it.
Mira cómo cambia el habla, ¿eh?
10 shillings.
Suits me.
Ah, bueno, espérate. Creo que no hacía falta. Pero ¿por qué? Pero ¿por qué, tío? No, escúchame, que no lo entiendo. Yo siempre le veo la cara igual, tío. Que le doy a la A, no hace nada, nada más que aguanta. Ay.
Well, good for you, I reckon. You're stronger than you look. Here's your 10 shillings.
I'd like to buy you a drink.
Good winner as well. That's good. Let's have a drink.
¿Y el chilling?
You're a good type. Seems you've managed to settle down in life. You've got money, eh?
Not all that much.
Oh, well. At least you're not as poor as me.
Why do you say poor? You're not working?
I'm a harpooner, but You see, the whalers are rare. They don't pay much. So, as a result, find myself arm wrestling to pay for my drink.
A harpooner. Interesting. You've had a lot of adventures, I bet.
Of course. It's been a dozen years since I've sailed. I've seen everything. Old Wallace, damn Black Peter, Great Roger. We sailed to the Cape of Good Hope.
Peter el Negro, que es el que han matado, creo.
Peter, you say? I've heard rumors about that one.
He was the worst of them all. He was a liar, and violent too. Swinging those fists of his around. He was a tyrant, and not much of a captain. At least, not as good as Great Roger.
I see. Yes. I was told terrible tales about Black Peter.
But you ain't heard the worst.
Otro trago.
And let's have another drink.
It was in 1883 that it happened. The August of that year. Peter Carey was captain of the Sea Unicorn, and I was a spare harpooner. We were coming out of the ice pack on our way home. One evening, we saw a little craft that had been blown north. There was only one man on her, and he wasn't a sailor. The crew must have thought that she'd foundered, and they made for the Norwegian coast in the dinghy. I guess they all drowned. We took the man on board.
And who was he?
Como sea el jardinero.
I don't know. During the crossing, he and the skipper enjoyed some long talks. His baggage was just a tin box.
That's strange enough.
Aye. Even stranger was that on the second night, he disappeared. Nobody knew what happened to him. And of course, nobody could ask Black Peter about it.
You know what happened, don't you?
I do. I saw the skipper tie his heels and push him over the rail in the middle of my watch on that dark night. 2 days before we sighted the Shetland lights.
Black Peter's a murderer.
Aye. Those that know him wouldn't be surprised to hear it. But all this must stay between us. All right?
Of course. Back in a second. I'm off to the CASO.
I'll be here with my drink.
Here it is. Have you got any tobacco? I've run out of mine.
Nah, I lost my pouch. I don't know where. Wait a minute. What's this?
Oh, is this your tobacco pouch?
Well, oh, it is.
Well, I have to go now. I know a captain who's planning an expedition to Cape Cod. Captain Ahab's his name. He commanded the Pequod. He might need good harpooners. I'll tell him about you.
Maybe. If you like, aye.
I'm done here. It's time to leave. These are the suspect's belongings. I wonder if these are connected.
Vale, y tenemos que ver con cuál. 8532.
Now we have the proof that Nelligan's papers were indeed here. It seems that they have vanished, however.
Nos falta algo. Esto. Los valiosos bonos de valores. Móvil de Nelligan. John Nelligan pudo haber sido sorprendido mientras robaban los bonos. John Nelligan es víctima de las circunstancias. Si yo creo que el niño es víctima, entonces por lo cual el notas este es el culpable. Peter Carey fue asesinado por Patrick Keynes. Peter Carey, vale, que es el que acaban matado. Keynes es arponero profesional. Su petaca fue hallada en el interior de la cabaña de Peter Carey. Patrick Keynes es un asesino a sangre fría. Ha sido hallado culpable del asesinato de Peter Carey y debe ser castigado. Patrick Keynes mató a Peter Carey, pero no fue un asesinato premeditado. Fue en defensa propia contra un marinero borracho, armado y irracional. Sí, yo creo que no tan oro un angelito. Ya entiendo cómo se dan los casos. Vamos a ver lo que pasa.
Good afternoon. I must be at the wrong address. I'd like to speak with a ship's captain, a Captain Ahab. Is that you?
No, my name is Sherlock Holmes.
That detective fella? So, you wanted to see me?
That is correct. We need to talk.
About what?
About Black Peter, who was killed in his own hut with a harpoon.
You know, don't ya?
Yes.
How?
The tobacco pouch. You recognized it.
Oh, the sailor. It was you. Unbelievable. Well, fine. I confess. But if you really do know everything, you should also know that I didn't want to kill him. He made me do it.
I know. Did you know about this story with the bond certificates? Did you need money?
Yeah. I just wanted him to cough up a little silver. I'm out of work, and I thought maybe he could help me. Well, he refused outright, and he insulted me. I reminded him I knew all about that murder he committed at sea in 1883. Then he got mad when I spoke about his treasure. I barely just had time to throw the harpoon at him before he could jump at me with his knife. You know the truth. What will you do now?
I ask that you return the bond certificates. Keep some of them. You will need them in your exile. It is better that you leave the country for a few years.
And you won't say anything to the police?
I will not say anything as long as you return the money.
Well, I'll do as you ask. But what about Inspector Lestrade?
I will deal with him. Goodbye.
¿Cómo va a deal with him? Tendrá que tener un culpable, ¿no?
It's good that you asked me to come, Mr. Holmes. We do need to talk.
About what?
What do you mean? Our case, Mr. Holmes. You sent me a message via your little thug.
His name is Wiggins, Inspector.
Telling me that the case is solved. Well, Mr. Holmes, tell me, who is our murderer and where is he?
The morgue.
Eh?
His name is, or rather was, Pablo Coventral. He was
El otro
also on
arponero.
the ship with Peter Carey, and he was a harpooner. I'll tell you everything, Inspector, but do calm down. Mrs. Hudson will bring us tea and
Igual no me
orange
parece
cake.
bien que haga eso.
Orange
Porque el
cake?
que ha muerto,
You're
pobrecito,
spoiling
¿qué culpa
me, Mr.
tenía?
Holmes. That's my favourite.
No sé, tío.
Ah, Mr. Holmes. Inspector Lestrade told me that I should thank you for clearing my name. He also said that you were waiting for me here. I came as fast as I could. I cannot thank you enough. It is all because of you that this nightmare is finally over.
No será el padre de esta el que mató, ¿no?
Belongs to you.
My father's securities. Incredible. But how did you get them?
It would take
Fue
far
al
too
padre
long
al
to
que mató en el
explain.
83.
Tell me. This is extraordinary. You are a genius.
Then that may serve as an explanation. Goodbye, Mr. Nelligan, and good luck.
Goodbye, Mr. Holmes. And thank you. 1,000 times thank you.
Peter Carey fue asesinado por Patrick Keynes, un arponero profesional, el único capaz de realizar un lanzamiento tan preciso. Su petaca fue hallada en la cabaña de Peter Carey, pero el crimen fue en defensa propia contra un marinero borracho, armado y furioso. Ha decidido absolver a Patrick Keynes. 16 pistas. Vale. Personal tipo condescendiente.